Welcome to the Retail Boss Podcast. I am your host, Kina, aka the Retail Boss Guru. Are you ready to learn how to retail to retire? Listen, if you are a cosmetologist, barber, nail tech, makeup artist, salon owner, or just an entrepreneur / business owner, then you are listening to the right broadcast today. My goal is for everyone to take something from this feast of a table that I am about to spread out just for you. Welcome, guys, to another episode of the Retail Boss Podcast. It's your girl, Kina, aka the Retail Boss. How are y'all doing out there? Listen, it has been a time getting this podcast going today, but it's going to be great. And I'm so excited that you guys are here. If it's your first time joining the Retail Boss Podcast on YouTube, welcome to the show. I'm so glad we're now live. And if you are listening to any of the podcasting platforms where you're finding the Retail Boss and it's your first time, thank you so much and welcome to the show. Guys, I don't want to prolong this time, so I'm going to go ahead and get my commercials out the way real quick, okay? Now, you guys contacted me through my website. I asked you guys a couple of questions, and you guys have already let me know what you need from the Retail Boss. So I went out of my way to make sure I give all my clients everything that they're needing. And I created the Retail Boss Survival Guide to Beauty Retail just for you. So if you are a licensed cosmetologist, if you are a barber, nail technician, esthetician, makeup artist, salon owner, booth renter, wherever you fit in the beauty space, this workbook is just for you. And the great thing about it, it's a digital download. So you don't have to go and, purchase it, wait for it. You don't have to go look for it. You download it to your device and you're ready to go. When I tell you guys, you will not be disappointed. If you guys already got my first book, you definitely won't be disappointed for this one. And if you've not gotten that, make sure that you guys visit Amazon and purchase that as well. And again, I want to let you guys stay informed with me and what's happening with the Retail Boss University. So if you have not signed up on the Retail Boss website, I'm going to need you to do that. Click the links that's all down in the show notes. That way you guys can stay informed of what's going on. And when I drop a new class, you guys will get that information firsthand. Well, let me tell you guys something. I created a membership just for you. If you are new in the industry, if you've been in the industry for a long time and you're like, I just need a refresher, or if you are fresh out of school, it doesn't really matter where you fall in the realms of your cosmetology career. If you guys join my monthly membership, you will get free classes with me every single month. And on top of that, you guys will get to join me for a live masterclass with a group session where there's Q&A. There's also extra digital downloads and things like that I will be giving you guys. And with this membership, you get a host of information. Not only do you get a host of information, but you get an opportunity to now build a digital library that's going to help you when you don't know where to go, when you have questions about your business and things aren't working and you need a refresh and a reboot, or you just need information. There's a lot of resources that come along with that. So make sure you guys are checking that out. I'm so excited about today, guys, because there's a piece in the beauty industry that we need to make sure that we understand where we belong, because we fit in to Hollywood. We fit in to the behind the scenes for movies. We fit in that space. And sometimes we don't know how to get started. Sometimes we just don't know how to even navigate through that. So today's guest, I'm super excited to have this young lady with us. I met her last year, right when COVID was like popping off. We were all in New York. And I'm going to tell you guys, her spirit is amazing. I think she's just super dope. I like her flow. I like her style. I love her spirit. And I think she's a wealth full of knowledge. So let me introduce my guest to you guys. Miss Monae Everett is a celebrity hairstylist. She is a beauty speaker, and she's also an author, okay, of not one, but two books, okay? Miss Monae is a licensed and celebrity hairstylist. She is a beauty speaker and an author with over 18 years worth of experience, guys. Her work can be seen in media ranging from Harper's Bazaar to Yahoo, to Essence, to hair shows. She has worked with celebrities ranging from Diana, I still butchered this name, Guerrera. She's also worked with Mariah Carey and Nickelodeon starlets Lizzie Green and Sophia Wiley. She recently created the Texture Style Awards, which is the first competition of its kind celebrating all hair textures. And when I tell you guys that this is much needed in our community, I'm telling you right now, Miss Monae is breaking ground with this. And I'm so excited to see how this thing just unfolds. She also is holding education in great esteem. Monae is merged her studies from communication and sociology from George Mason University with her love of the beauty industry. She launched the Monae Life Online Academy specifically for hairstylists, teaching how to style for editorials, celebrities, and styling for all hair types. Driven by her love to make women look and feel amazing, she has recently released her first book, Stunning Braids, which I purchased as soon as I saw it. Monae recently followed its success with Get Out of Your Own Way, which is something that I mention all the time on this podcast. A guide for beauty professionals interested in working in entertainment. And when I tell you guys something, this young lady right here, she has the nuggets. She has the diamonds. She has so many gems that she's getting ready to drop on this interview right now. So if you don't know this about the Retail Boss podcast, you need to get a pen and paper and be ready to take notes, because my girl is getting ready to drop it like it's all the way hot. Welcome, 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 Miss Monae Everett. I'm so glad you're here, girl. How are you?
Wonderful. I'm way better now that I'm here with you.
Girl, it's been a minute, and I talked to you about doing this podcast a while back, and we are finally here, and I love it. Thank you so much for coming.
Mama, we made it.
We made it. You look beautiful. I mean,
as do
always.
You. Oh my God, if I'm coming on Keena's show, I better get dressed.
You know, we like to show out. That's what we do in this beauty industry. It's like all things beauty, all things fashion. If you don't know, you need to know, because we represent everywhere we go. We're never off. We're Absolutely. Always working.
It's nothing worse than, not looking decent and telling somebody you're a hairstylist and that's slow.
Absolutely. Yes. That's what we do. And one thing I can tell you is I totally admire everything that you do. Every time I watch Power, I'm like, that's my girl doing her thing. Like, I'm just so excited to see everything, the artistic ability and everything that you are bringing to the beauty industry, and how you are now sharing that information and educating others just like myself. And what I'm telling you is, because of who you are and what you do and how you bring that information forward, I listen to you on Instagram and on social media, and you're such a giver. You're just such a giver. And it's amazing that that's the spirit that we have. And that's what this industry was founded on, sharing information. So I just want you to tell us, how did you get here? How did you go from being in college to getting to this point to where you jumped into the beauty industry?
Well, I always had a big mouth. I was very opinionated, and for some reason, oddly thought people wanted to hear my opinions. So, this was over 20 years ago, back before we had like e-red carpet and stuff like that. And I
Mm-hmm.
would look at magazines and TV shows and be like, oh, why did she do her hair this way? Or why is her makeup that way? Or that doesn't go with that dress. And the general response I got was, well, if you can't do better, I don't think you should say anything. And I was like, I think with a little training, Mama can slay. I think I can do, something different. But I never, I didn't come from a family that held hairstyling in a high esteem. Unfortunately, I have a lot of cousins who style hair, but they out of their mouths will tell you because they couldn't do anything else. So I just thought, well, I will only do hair and makeup while I'm in college to pay for, school, because you best believe sis was paying for her own college.
Right.
So I thought that that's what I would do. But my senior year in college, I learned about working on sets and working behind the scenes. And I was silly enough to think that if I graduated college, I could tell everybody I was a celebrity hairstylist and it would be great and they would care. Ma'am, they did not care.
Wow.
No, it doesn't work that way. You still have to build yourself. Being in college has nothing to do with being a stylist. I was fortunate enough that I took cosmetology my senior year in high school, my freshman year in college. So I was licensed and I was working in a salon. My first love was radio and TV. So I was full-time in college, full-time in cosmetology, part-time in the salon, and part-time working at the radio station. So
wow,
I was very focused, and I thought, okay, I'll just do this to pay for my college. But a coworker or someone I was assisting told me about celebrity styling, but she couldn't tell me a lot because she didn't know a lot. I started my career in the Northern Virginia area. I was unaware of local celebrities. I was unaware of any celebrity hairstyle. So there was no one to go to. All she could tell me was a little bit of info that she knew. And that was for me to build on and learn a little something here, learn a little something there, take, whatever advanced hairstyling classes I could take. And I would always ask people, well, what do I do? How do I get there? And it took me years to realize that people won't just say, I don't know. It was easier for them to give me wrong information. Hence the title of my book, Get Out of Your Own Way. I did so many things wrong that by the time I started learning how to do things right, I had to make up for all the things that I had done wrong, mend relationships, learn how to properly approach people, learn how to properly email, learn how to do my own marketing, just completely restart over. And I do have to say one thing, there's two parts of the industry. There is the film and TV side, and there is the print side. So I work in print, and many times you may see some of the celebrities I work with on film, but I do not work on the Power TV show. I have worked with multiple of them, like when they're doing photo shoots or small interviews.
Okay.
It is so important to never take anybody else's work that I always have to be like, yeah.
Correction.
Paige
I stand corrected.
No. Paige is one of my favorite clients. But, the artists who work on that show work so hard that I never want anybody to think. But, if they want me on the show, sis might, be a bit. I'm just saying. Out here, I could say a lot about him, but one thing I got to include is he out here giving jobs.
I know that's right.
Yes.
This is true. Well, wow. That right. First of all, I need them to just go ahead and just put some respect on the beauty industry's name, because I too came from a family that didn't really think it was a real career, and I feel like we have to really, show and prove ourselves a lot, but doing what we do is a lot of science and a lot of art. And I think now it's becoming not so much trendy, but I think people are more understanding to want to know more about what it is that we do. And they see us differently, even though during COVID, we were considered non-essential workers.
But they
had a whole, I'm just saying.
Didn't they? Mm-hmm.
They came for our whole life.
Yes, they did.
And so I applaud you for, pushing through so hard. And like you said, a lot of times, we'll get in this industry we'll ask questions, and sometimes there's a crab in a barrel mentality where people don't want to share information because they think that you're going to steal their thunder or somehow take their place. And like you said, sometimes getting that wrong information and then having to kind of work back through it and figuring out all the kinks. And a lot of times I think some of us go through those situations just so that God can just lead us on the path that he wants us on anyway. So, I applaud you for just pushing through. And now that you are in this space and you are, I don't care what nobody say. To me, you dominating it. I love it. I love everything about what you're doing. And so with that being said, what advice can you give someone that is, maybe either fresh out of school and this is something that they're looking into doing, or, somebody who's kind of wanting to change their career path a little bit and go in this direction? What advice can you, offer them?
I got a whole book worth of advice. I got whole classes worth of advice. I'm going to start with, to me, the most important thing is diversity. And diversity encompasses many different things. Diversity is the types of hair textures you work with: straight, wavy, curly, and kinky coily. Diversity is the type of hairstyles that you create: updos, down styles, hair extensions, faux locks, weaves, taping, glue, whatever. Diversity. Mm-hmm. Diversity is the type of work you do in a salon, during weddings, doing runway shows, doing this. You have to be extraordinarily diverse, even diverse. So you always want to take a crap load of classes. And now you guys even have, online classes and YouTube. There's no reason you can't take a minimum of 2 classes a week. There's no reason. But you even want to be diverse in the educators that you seek out to learn from, because people can only teach you what they know. So you might have somebody who does an amazing job at updos, and that just might be all they're comfortable in teaching. Whereas you might need to learn how to market yourself as a beauty professional from someone else. You might need to learn how to sell at retail from somebody different. You might need to learn how to apply hair extensions. But how about you might have one person that can teach you how to apply hair extensions, but you need someone to teach you how to apply them on set quickly so you can snatch them in and out. 2 different specialties. So you want to be really diverse, because you don't know where you would fit in if you want to work in the entertainment industry. What you've mastered in the salon may not be the same in the entertainment industry. You may able to in the salon, you may be considered fast as hell for doing that 2-hour shampoo, blow dry, cut, press, and curl on set, ma'am.
Right.
That's very slow. So you might, there's a lot of different things for you to know and to grow. You might be amazing at creating unstructured styles on set, and you may have never had the opportunity to do that in the salon. So you want to try, grow, see, experience a lot of different things. And I tell people the cheat is to take classes from educators. Anyone who values what I teach enough to invest in me with a class, I want to see them win. I am always going to check for them, because it only benefits both of us that I say a student of mine is doing well. It doesn't benefit either one of us.
Absolutely.
If you take a class and you're not soaring, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh my God, girl, I could talk for hours. Networking, I didn't understand the importance of. I thought networking was, hey, hi. There's vertical networking, there's horizontal networking. Both are good for, different reasons. So vertical networking would be what I just described. Networking up with an instructor or someone you assist. Then there's vertical networking, like, okay, so now you're in the salon or you got this job, we're all at the same position. We have to network with each other.
Okay.
You didn't ask me to come on here and tell all that.
Well, I mean, first of all, I'm learning so much. I was over here taking notes while you were talking, because I'm like, wow, that's really interesting. I definitely didn't. I know networking is a big deal, and it's like everyone networks differently. And when you feel like you don't have a huge personality, sometimes you can shy away from networking, which helps to build those opportunities. So to know that in your courses that you provide some esteem building and things of that nature is huge, because everyone, they don't have that niche. And even someone like myself, like I'm on here, I'm talking to you on this podcast, like I'm in my comfort zone when I meet people face to face. But when it's something like new, I kind of am one of those people that step back, I observe a lot before I start asking those questions. But then someone else that may be a little bit more, what's the word I want to use? Forthcoming, and they see the opportunity, they're going to seize the moment. They're going to get in that space quicker than I would. So I would need someone to help me build that esteem, to teach me like what to say, you know what I'm saying? And like how to say it, like to really navigate the conversation to where I'm not super aggressive, but just in a way to where I'm really all about, you know what I'm saying? Learning, getting information, wanting to work with other people. What advice can you give someone who doesn't have that experience working well with other people in doing what you do?
So I want to take it back a little bit. I am very much an introvert. I do very well on videos and stuff like this because I am an introvert. There's nobody else here. I did study communications, but what I have learned the extraordinarily hard way is I studied mass communications, which is the same thing as by yourself. Because if I'm presenting to 1,000 people, no one's stopping me. They're not interrupting me. I can't see them rolling their eyes and sucking their teeth. So saying that to say, my best suit is not small crowds. That's where networking is. When you're talking to 1 or 2 people, I would rather run and hide under a couch before doing that. It's not easy to me, but my mom is an extreme extrovert. I mean, she might be so extreme that it makes me more introverted. And I just love, she walks in, it's like a party scene. When she walks in, everybody goes to the side to see parts. And, she's dancing her way in the party and people are standing in line to talk to her. I'm like, you know them? She's like, no. But I spent literally all my life watching that and wishing that I had that. Now, listen to this. I'm going to tell you something that she taught me, though. She said, yes, everybody comes to me as the life of the party, but they don't come to me for life advice. They don't ask me, how to get ahead, what to do here. They come to the class clown for the laugh, and then they walk around them and go to the person that seems they have more to offer.
Wow.
I was well over 30 before she told me that, and it made me, really feel better. I don't want her to feel that way. But I just always grew up feeling so left out. Like this is not something I'm able to do. So I'm probably a bit extreme. I go from hiding in the corner, why are you looking at me, to I get up the nerve, and I'm probably a more aggressive networker because now I got the nerve. And so yeah, we do go over things like what to say when you're reaching out to people. We do go over things like when you send emails, what to say, because don't send an email that's 500 words if we could get that down to 50 words.
Absolutely.
And you are annoying the hell out of people with all the extra words. So like, I may want to help you. You get what I'm saying? I may want to help you, but you have talked so much that now let me give you an example. I don't want to make it too specific so the young lady won't know. I texted someone who helps me from time to time on jobs, an assistant. And she's like, oh, are you available these 3 days? Was the question. And she's like, oh, well, my car, something, it blew up. Sorry to hear that. Are you available?
Yeah.
But okay. So, I'm really sorry to hear that. So eventually I pick up the phone. I was like, I need to know, are you available these 3 days? And she's like, well, my kid was in my car. Okay. Are you available is different from you don't have access to your kid. Those are 2 different things, both important. But if you're not available, that's the end of the conversation. If you are available and don't have a kid, then we can get to solving the problem. But it shouldn't have took me 15 minutes to get there.
Right.
And I think that, you were upset about what happened. But girl, let me fix this. You available? I can take this job. Let's go.
Yes.
Sorry, that was top of mind. Hopefully that's
I get it. And I feel like, the millennials, they're a little different than us.
Hold on. I'm a millennial.
You're a millennial.
I'm a
I'm
millennial.
sure
I'm
not.
an old ass millennial, but
Oh
I'm a
my gosh,
millennial.
I'm telling my age. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. You're a millennial.
I'm a millennial. I'm right at the top. I'm right underneath that Generation X. But I think you. Well, nah, everybody may be millennials, but I'm a proud millennial.
Hey, I'm gonna say this because one of my sisters, one of my sisters is a millennial, and I always tell her, I said, you're the last of the Mohicans because I raised her, so she has a very old soul, and how she moves and how she operates is totally different. Yeah. And I have teenagers, and I don't get them. I don't get them at all.
That's what I'm saying. Gen Z is 25 and younger.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But okay, I could go in on them.
Yeah.
But the reason I'm stopping myself is I might have issues with some of their ways of handling stuff, but they have turned this world upside down.
They have. They definitely have. In so many ways, technology, voicing their rights, like it's just a whole. First of all, the world has changed. Yes. And now our younger generation they're coming out of college becoming straight entrepreneurs. Yes. A lot of them are just not about working for other people. So yeah, everything has definitely changed. Yes. And with that being said, how are you all operating behind the scenes now due to COVID? Like, how did that change everything for you?
Oh, a lot has changed. There was a question you asked me that I feel like I accidentally skipped over, but behind the scenes, so as a hairstylist, it's important for you to be sanitary, period. So there should not have been so many changes. Some of the big changes, like, keeping your stuff clean, keeping it separated, not using the same brushes on people, clean. I mean, really just clean your stuff. Wipe off your stuff is the main thing. Right. I would say the biggest changes are now, if it's up to production, they will separate. They won't have hair and makeup working at the same time is the intent.
Okay.
And also putting on a mask and if possible, a shield. For me, those are the biggest changes. Also, some of the biggest changes are now they may tell you whether or not you can have an assistant rather than you telling them because of different parameters for how many people can be there.
Got it.
And sometimes a COVID test at the beginning of the day, or you have to be COVID tested the day before. Yes, because nobody wants someone to come back and say this was a super spreader event. It's very more about they don't want to be held legally culpable. And thankful to God, I am getting, I'm starting to get bookings, not quite where I was like, oh my God, I used to travel a minimum of twice a week.
Okay.
So I'm certainly not there now, but I'm starting to work a lot more in New York and getting those travel opportunities. I had a client that would have been at the Oscars, but the Oscars decided to be live and they decided to only invite a small amount of people. So my heart broke.
Yeah.
I'm still a little sad about it because it would have been my first time doing someone at the Oscars, but yeah.
Yeah. I get it. But girl, you know what? That's all right. Cause there's gonna be more opportunities. Something else is stirring and brewing for you. You know what I'm saying?
Myself, and it allowed me if COVID wasn't here, I probably would have never written this book, and I certainly would not have had the time to create the Texture Style Awards. So something good is steering from it.
Yes. Okay. So I want to ask you this question, and then I want to get into Texture Style Awards, and then I definitely want to get into your new book. Okay. Well, I want you to talk about both books. But before I get into that, I need to ask you this question. When you want to, when a stylist or let's say barber, whatever, makeup artist wants to do the things that you're doing, but they don't live in a city that offers that. What would you advise them do to move to a city to where there are more things happening? Do they need to move to certain cities? If what cities should they be taking into consideration to move to if this is what they really want to do?
So pre-COVID, I would have said maybe that's step 5, moving to another city. But every city has celebrities. Every city has high-end clientele, whether that's the head of the PTA, the first lady of the church, the top banking executive, this, that, and meaning high-paying clients. I tell people all the time, do not sleep on these hair color makeovers that are $1,500. Do not sleep on these micro links that are $1,500 and $2,000. You might be making more than someone going to do a celebrity. That is high end. That is still celebrity for that town. Also, there are photo shoots in every town, whether the car dealer is doing a commercial or Dillard's is doing a runway show to show their new fashions, which maybe big cities won't call fashions, but they're going to need somebody to do hair and makeup. Okay. So pre-COVID, I would have said, okay. Also, like when I started my career in Northern Virginia, I thought DC was a big city. It is not a big city. I didn't know that. No, it's not even in the top 3. Like not even, it's not a, like there's different levels. Major cities, New York, LA, Chicago, and Miami. I forget. No, major city, New York and LA. Secondary, Chicago, Miami. It's not even on the 3rd tier. Like it's not really a city, it's a town. You get what I'm saying?
Wow. I didn't think about it like that.
Yeah, and it's not Monae's opinion of it. If you look at the census and you look at population, it's not a city, it's a town.
That's true.
So I was able to make some money, not a whole lot, but I was able to support myself there. It was 10 years into my career before I moved into New York. So my answers are pre-COVID. Now with COVID, it seems like this is the biggest transference of wealth that has ever happened in this country. Industries are going everywhere. People are starting to say, well, why do I need to live in LA? Why do I need to live in New York? Why do I need to pay 6 times the rate to go there? Yeah. I get a lot of bookings for Zoom stuff. Like one of my clients for I think of Critics' Choice Awards, she did that on Zoom. So if she lived in Omaha, Nebraska, I would have been in Omaha, Nebraska doing her hair and makeup. I tell people this all the time. When Beyonce's traveling, if she got to do a pit stop in Douglasville, Wyoming, I don't even know if that's a real place, but if she got to stop there, maybe she got a close friend or something and she wants her hair done, she's looking for people there. These celebrities are not always saying, hey, grab your bags and travel everywhere with me. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe they got a secret thing going on out there they don't want everybody to know about. I'm saying all of this to say there's money everywhere. Okay, Wyoming jumped to my mind because Kanye West is there. Who is doing the Sunday choir? When them Kardashians slide through, somebody is doing their hair. Someone's doing their makeup. It may not be the person that we are accustomed to. They may not shop them out all the time. But you can probably go through Wyoming hairstylist and come across Kim Kardashian or one of the Jenners or something. So I don't know, to answer your question, that I'm saying you got to move from where you are, but I will say be very prepared to go back and forth to the major cities. I was getting on the bus at 1 a.m. in the morning. I was leaving my house, catching a 2:30 a.m. bus to New York from DC, arriving in New York before 7 a.m., get myself together either at the public restroom or on the bus, doing my hair and makeup, going to work from 9 to 9 and then catching the bus back home, because a hotel room was $300, but the make bus was $20 round trip.
Right.
What are you willing to do to achieve your dream? Because no one's going to hand it to you.
No one. No one. Absolutely. I'm with you on that. I girl, I tell people all the time, I paid my dues early on in this industry. I've done hair for free. I started off doing hair and makeup, and then I just went strictly hair. And then I taught for product companies, and just had to like work my way up. And in the beginning, it was just all about exposure. It was all about learning. So, when I would go to the hair shows, Bronner, Premiere, Proud Lady, I would go to these shows and I would just assist.
Yeah.
Just so that I could be in the mix and pay attention and learn things and just pick up information. And then, like you said, network, and put myself in that position to really be found. And that brings me back to my point. I feel like the younger generation, they see Insta famous stylists. They see Insta famous YouTubers, and they don't think that they have to still put that work in, and really still, have that drive when things don't go the way that, you may have predicted for them to go, or, you wanted to get paid this amount, but I took a lower amount just so that I can get the experience and also build a rapport with the client,
Absolutely.
and work my way to the point to where I'm getting, XYZ. So when it comes to that, in terms of like pricing, like charging your value for what you're worth and what you're bringing to the table, what should they be thinking about in terms of, first of all, let's think about longevity here. I'm building myself to get to this point, but where should they be starting, like ballpark, if they're brand new and they're fresh in the game with this? Like, what should they be thinking in terms of charging people?
So generally, like when you're finally able to get actual dollars for your work, aside from exposure or products or tools, and let's be clear, these big New York Fashion Week shows, a lot of these high-end stylists are only getting paid like $150 to $250 in product.
I believe it. I worked the fashion shows during those times too. I got paid nothing in the beginning. It took time.
It took many years. I remember when I said, I'm not doing New York Fashion Week again, because everybody stood in my face and said, no one pays for Fashion Week shows. I had done it for over 15 seasons. And then that very next season, every show hit me up and they wanted to pay $500 a piece. And I was like,
okay.
All of y'all said, don't nobody pay nothing. But all of a sudden when I say, I'm not coming, but that's also because I had built enough of a reputation for myself that I was becoming part of, for lack of a better word, the cleanup crew. So they would book, let's make up a number, 15 artists, right? 10 of them were kind of just there who could do one or two things, but I was the cleanup crew. Like, I can do whatever needs to be done and I will fix your work. So that reputation started preceding me, like, yeah, we need these artists here for whatever the reason. I couldn't tell you. Maybe they're brand ambassador, whatever. But Monae can do hair and she can do anything.
Yeah.
So I built that reputation. So when you're first starting and you're trying to do like your first shoots, like someone calls you and says, hey, I really need you to do my hair. You're lucky if you can get 150 or 250. You're doing really well with that. But if you're doing like a test shoot, that means everybody needs these images, not just, the girl that's going to be in a pageant. We all need these images because we're trying to show the world, I'm a makeup artist, I'm a hairstylist, I'm a wardrobe stylist, I'm a model, I'm a photographer. Don't nobody get paid. And you might actually end up paying a little bit because many times a photographer might need to rent a studio. And here's the thing, everybody always wants to say, skip the studio. The hairstylist ends up being hurt the most when you skip the studio, because where are you going to get the electricity?
Right.
You get what I'm saying? You can
yes.
Photos outside. You can use outdoors lights for makeup. But if you need that electricity, and better believe they will stand there and be like, electricity? I didn't think about that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because they don't need it. I always say a photo shoot is like working at the United Nations. Everybody is speaking a different language and no one understands the other person.
So what do you do in that instance?
Oh, I've done many a photo shoot with no electricity. You figure it out, you come up with something. And then I also started carrying like a plug in my car. Sorry, y'all, I live in New York. So if you
okay.
I also started carrying like this little thing that you can plug in. So like I would plug it into the cigarette lighter and it would give me 2 plugs.
Okay.
Plug my stuff in, because they would look at you like I had 6 heads, where I'm like, I really need electricity. And I could never tell like if they thought I was stupid or if they were that dumb or what. But
oh my gosh.
Like even stuff like in your kit, extra electric outlets, it's always an issue. So do you have a surge protector in your kit?
Always.
Because you show up and you're mad that they don't have an extra plug. They're like, I got enough for my lights.
Sorry. No, I get it.
Just not a thought, So there's a lot of different ways to get into these careers. You want to start, and I really go into detail in 10 ways to level up your career. I have that online class. I teach you how to speak to your clients to let them know that this is a career you'd like to go into. I teach you how to find other professionals to work with, how to come up with shoots, how to mood board, where to get your inspiration. Girl, I'm teaching it all in those classes.
Okay. And guess what, guys? We are not going to leave you hanging. We're going to have all those links in the show notes. So
Yes,
all you're going to have to do is click the link and go ahead and get this education.
yes, yes,
So
yes.
with that being said, I'm ready to get into your books, and then we're going to talk about this texture awards. Okay.
Awesome.
So the very first time I met you, you were talking about your updo book, your hairstyles, all the different hairstyles that you've like perfected these different ways of doing. And at the time, my daughter was just starting cosmetology school. So when I came back with the book, she was like, "Oh my gosh, I already follow her." She was like super amped about it. And so, what do you want to tell us about the book? I don't want to spill all the information, but what can you tell us? What made you create this book?
So Stunning Braids, actually the publishers found me because I had a few hundred videos on YouTube, and they
Okay.
wanted to create a book that showed all hair textures, and they were having difficulty finding like hairstylists and creators who could do that. So I was super excited about Stunning Braids, my very first book, and I showed 25 different styles, DIY, how to do them yourself, and what products and tools I used to create those styles.
Mm-hmm. You did. And I'm gonna tell you, I was thumbing through that book because I'm like, I've never been one to like do like amazing updos, but I was thumbing through the book and I was like, I'm gonna try some of these hairstyles on these wigs, honey. I could get it done, pre-do these braids. And I'm telling you, I love the all the visuals. Like they were just so explanatory, and I was like, wow, this book needs to be in the cosmetology schools. Like,
I agree. Let's get that. Let's get that happening. I
let's
agree. Yes, yes, yes. I do agree. And it was really nice to be able to do it. I definitely remember not knowing how to braid. I did not learn how to braid until I was in cosmetology school.
okay.
My Black Girl Pass certainly would have been revoked for that. And I did not learn how to do updos for at least 5 or 6 years into my career. I just would run updos and finger waves. I used to just run from.
You and me both. You
I
and me both.
This ain't it. I don't want to do it. And then when I created, my steps of making it easier, and I always talk about my 5-section technique. You can do basically any hairstyle using that.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay, it ain't that hard. I can come up, and my specialty is showing how to do things and create styles in a way that's easy.
Yes.
Nobody want to work that hard. We just want to look good.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with you on that. I mean, so if you guys don't have a copy of this book, I'm gonna need you to click the link because I promise you, you will not be disappointed. So let's get into your second book because I say this all the time on the podcast. I'm like, guys, you got to learn how to get out of your own way. You have to put yourself in a position to be found. There's no excuses. Sometimes we use so many things that have happened to us in the past, and we want to hold on to trash and garbage. And a lot of those feed into our insecurities. And then now we have the wave of social media that also feeds into a lot of people's insecurities, and you start measuring yourself up to others that you see what they're doing, and then before you know it, you have like this whole cesspool going on. So give us a little intro about this book because I can't wait to get it. I'm excited about it because I want to make sure that I push this book because I mean, mental health is a huge deal, and I think in our industry, I'm not saying it's not discussed, but I don't hear a lot of talks on it. And all of us have gone through something in the industry that may have caused some type of hurt and pain, and we don't know how to move past that. So if you can just kind of give us something out of the book, just one thing, and kind of just expound on what made you really write this book for us.
Absolutely. So I wrote Get Out of Your Own Way, 25 Insider Tips for Booking Celebrity Hairstyling Clients, because I was really blessed that I was getting so many DMs and emails from people saying, congratulations on this placement or that media or that celebrity, but sis, how do I do what you do? And I was also blessed that I am one of the people out in the forefront discussing one of the things that we don't like to discuss in the beauty and entertainment industries, which is the racism and misogyny associated. So I really started thinking, I'm like, okay, so I'm being vocal about these problems. I am attracting people who want to do what I do, but they're not able to get there for X, Y, and Z reason. How can I merge this? So I knew that the issues were that a lot of people were not diverse in their hairstyling skills, but I also have to admit that many of them don't understand marketing and etiquette. And then of course that glass ceiling is there. So I needed to figure out a creative way to merge these things. And I realized that with a lack of education, they're never in the position to go after their dreams. So I'm like, okay, these people looking at me, they want some answers. I don't know. I can't keep talking about the problem without coming up with some form of an answer. So I wrote Get Out of Your Own Way, 25 Insider Tips for Booking Celebrity Clients. And I went through a lot of things that I have done wrong in my career, a lot of things I would like to do differently. I went through a lot, how to network, how to find the professionals that you want to work with, how to present yourself. And I told 25 individual stories of every time I did what I'm teaching you wrong. There was nothing in there that I got right on the first try. And I feel like giving this education will open up this world for qualified stylists. Like, we're sick of these stories about hairstylists who can't do all hair textures, but you're working on a major Disney show, or you're working, on a major production. Give these jobs to the stylists who are able to do the work.
Right.
So, I mean, so many tips. What are some tips I can do? I talked about the time that I was at a celebrity's house, and, this social media has not always been accepted, and every celebrity does not allow you to take photos. So I was taking a video, and I had enough sense not to get the celebrity in it, but their child ran by. And when their child ran by, you could also see in the background, like, something that told you where the house was. But people stalk celebrities. So they put 2 and 2 together of the child in the area. My agent immediately called me and told me to put that down. I'll give another social media example, and I'm gonna try not to be too direct because people might know who it is. So there was a reality show that was on TV, and I was into it. You hear me?
Okay.
I was posting about it, and I was saying, and there was one person on there that drove me insane. Not to go too dark, but I really felt like he was the reason another person on there was doing drugs. And it was like this person was being said not to do drugs, but he bothered me. So I went on a rant one day, went on about my business, forgot about it. Got booked at a job by a production company, not the celebrities that were there. And that guy was there.
Oh.
So I needed to groom him. Of course, I go to groom him. I'm minding my business. His assistant pulled up my post and asked me about it right then and there in front of him.
Wow.
It was like, well, you had so much to say on Facebook. You don't want to. I could have died right then and there. And just for the sake of the story, just so you understand, it's not about whether I was right or wrong. That person did die of an overdose. But which is very unfortunate.
Yeah.
The point is, you can't crap where you eat. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It didn't matter that I was right about him. What mattered is, had they told that story, how would that have proceeded me? You get what I'm saying? Just messy. I'm not discreet. Oh God, I go into details. I tell you how to find the decision makers and what to say in the emails. I tell you the type of work that you need to have in your book. Like, I break it down.
I got it. That's amazing. And if anybody is watching or listening to this podcast and you're hearing this information, you need to get into classes. I cannot stress education enough. Yep. And I feel like there's enough in the industry for everybody to eat. But if you don't have information, if you don't have knowledge, and if you don't know how to apply the knowledge that you are receiving, it is of no effect. Yep. So, I mean, guys, pay attention to what's being said. Make sure that you guys are thinking this through before getting in this industry, because there's a lot that goes with it, and you have to be taught and you have to learn how to move. Yeah. Absolutely.
Talent means nothing. Like, doesn't everybody find it funny to say, "Oh, she's not a good singer. I got better singers at my church every Sunday morning." Okay, but why they don't
Right.
have the top album?
Right. Right.
Because there's more to it than the talent.
Exactly. It definitely is. Oh my goodness. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that. I can't wait to read the book. And now I want to ask you about the Texture Style Awards. First of all, when I saw you posting about it, I watched the video. I started sharing it with my friends immediately, because I'm not behind the chair. I'm not in the industry doing those things anymore. But of course, a lot of my friends are. And I just shared, and they were just like, what? Oh my gosh. And then of course, they followed you and everything like that. So they're like, man, thank you for the information. And I think this is just much needed because, coming from the Paul Mitchell world that I come from, first of all, let me back up. Coming from the Dudley education where I started, you know what I'm saying? That's where I started and felt like I needed more education and, got involved with Paul Mitchell and became an educator, and immediately because I was Black, they made me texture specialist upon my interview. I didn't know what a texture specialist was. I came from the pivot point world. So I was like, well, I don't know what this means. So you're going to have to send me to training. And I remember going to training in Florida. I cried. That first day of training, matter of fact, the first 5 minutes of training, I started crying because I was not familiar with how to properly use a round brush. Mm-hmm. I wasn't familiar with a lot of these different things. And I was just like, all I basically know about is, relaxer. I definitely knew how to style natural hair, which they didn't know. Things like, yeah. So I had a lot to offer, but then there was some things I just didn't understand, just their procedure and their branding of how they did things, which was a little different for me. So I actually learned how to combine their branding with what I knew. And I actually was able to make some things better. But with that being said, as a considered texture educator, I had a lot of pressure on me. I handled it well because I wanted to make sure that all of the stylists, and I'm saying future professionals, let me use that language, that were in my classes, I wanted to make sure they got rid of the fear of using a Marcel iron in a stove, that they got rid of the fear of using a straightening comb or pressing comb in a stove. I wanted them to get past the fear of dealing with all the different types of, coily hair. And I would actually have them bald their mannequin heads, and we would buy all these textures of hair from the beauty supply store, and we would make mannequins in class of all 4 different textures so that they could really learn how to work with the textures. And we just did so many fun things. And as an educator, it stretched my creativity so that everyone would leave that texture class feeling like no matter who comes in the door on this floor, I am not afraid to service them. And there was such a huge stigma. I know within the beauty schools, it's a huge stigma to where clients would come in and they would request and say, well, I don't want to go to the Black girl, or, well, give me this person, or the Black people would come in and say, hey, I want a Black girl because I want a blowout. And the Black girl would get stuck with all the blowouts and never experience color.
Is real. Yeah.
Yeah. Never experience color, never experience all these different things. So I was always one of those that spoke up for the students in the school. And, I made the standard in our school be what it was. This is a beauty school. This is not a salon. So everybody's going to get this shared, experience. Exactly. So my students, let me tell you something. These white girls was not afraid of a Marcel, honey. They would have the back of your hair laid. I mean, just being able to say, like, when I went to cosmetology school and I had Miss Keena as an educator, I didn't experience what y'all experienced. And it sucks that y'all experienced those things. Yes. And so, now being able to, recognize those that are out here and working hard in the industry, and they are not afraid of texture. They've never been afraid of texture. And even for those that are still learning and have these learning curves that they are now overcoming and to be celebrated for their work and for their accomplishments and the things that they're doing, and get in a space to where everybody here, this is a safe space for me to do this in. So please talk to us about what this is all about. I'm gonna let you go ahead and just give us the tea on this.
Sure. So the Texture Style Awards are the first awards of their kind, celebrating all 4 hair textures. That's straight hair, wavy hair, curly hair, and kinky coily hair, as well as the hairstylists that slay them. So there are only 4 categories, which I just went over: straight hair, wavy hair, curly hair, and kinky coily hair. Stylists are invited to enter, and they choose the category that they're entering in by the texture of the final hairstyle. So if they had a model with kinky coily hair and they decided to straighten the hair, they would enter them in the straight category.
Mm-hmm.
A model with naturally wavy hair and they decided to tightly curl the hair, now they're in the curly category. It's sponsored by the Wella Company, From Professional and Babyless Pro, and the winners will also receive placements in Hairbrain, Modern Salon, Read the Tease, and more. This is
okay.
Yes, I came through on this. This is something that can help to launch the career of any hairstylist that has entered, and help you to pursue your dreams. Whether you want to be the dopest hairstylist in your city, you want to be a bridal hairstylist, or maybe you want to do more of what I do, work in print work or film and TV. Here's the real tea. The way artists are able to really catapult their career are the media features. This is why this is one of the main awards. And it never hurts to have thousands of dollars of products, tools, and education.
Yeah. I mean, that's all that in a bag of chips. So you get an opportunity to be recognized. You get an opportunity to, get great, amazing tools and products. I mean, like, for real, if you guys have been looking for something like this to get involved in, I definitely encourage you guys to get involved, because listen, I've never been able to just sit back on opportunities that I know this is a place where I belong and not take them. If this is a place where you belong, I'm gonna need you guys to jump in, and don't worry about if I don't win or not. It's just being in a competition, being in an environment of those that are believing in the same things, that are exercising these same practices that we're doing all the time in the salon. You're making yourself better the more you practice. So this is a space to where you can do that and be amongst your people. Like, I just love who we are as hairdressers. I mean, and I know in different places, overseas, they call us hairdressers. Here we're like, no, we're cosmetologists and hairstylists. But it's amazing how when you go to other countries, like, you're a hairdresser. And so however you want to categorize us in this beauty industry, the love for hair, the science for hair is just everything. I live for it. I breathe it, eat it, sleep it. And I know you do as well, girl. I mean, it's amazing.
There's so many aspects of it that people just don't know about. Like, I always throw it out here, like, people are upset about different products or different makeup that doesn't work. You can be a beauty chemist. You know what I'm saying? You could be a beauty scientist. You could be a beauty blogger. You can be a beauty writer. You can be a beauty marketer. You can be a beauty tester. You can be a hairstylist. You can be a makeup artist. You can be a manicurist. You can be an esthetician. You can be a spa consultant. You can be a salon consultant. You can be a freelance hairstylist. You can work in print. You can work in film and TV. Like, that's wonderful.
So much. There's so many avenues that we can press into. And I can tell you, I've worn a lot of hats in this industry. There's always a way for us to make money. We are one of those industries. We're like one of the fastest growing industries that's really popping off right now, like a $500 billion industry. And so many people have come into this industry that never done a head of hair and that are making millions of dollars because they saw that, hey, beauty products is a thing. Like, I don't care who you are, no matter where you are, everybody needs them. So let me find something. Let me present a value proposition that's going to solve somebody's problem. And I feel like a lot of us have kind of missed out on opportunities and missed the boat because we think that we just belong behind the chair. Mm-hmm. And there's so much more for us out here. I'm telling you. So I know we're going to wrap this thing up, but before we do, I want to ask you a question in reference to this industry and where we stand and where we're going. Where do you see the future of the beauty industry going at this time?
I do think the beauty industry is in danger. There are so many states that want to deregulate us. So I see the beauty industry having to stand up for itself. I see the beauty industry displaying, the what we bring to the world differently, and it might be different than only working in the salons. I see us kicking in doors saying, "Hey, we are valuable. This is what we bring." And COVID was not a blessing. However, COVID made the world see how vital we are.
Yeah.
People were crying and dying for those hairstylists.
They sure were.
They were like, hold on, forget all the bad stuff I said. Can you fix my hair though?
Right. They definitely were. I mean, clients were like knocking on doors. I know I'm not even behind the chair anymore. Everyone knows that I strictly am just a wig maker. And, I've kind of gone into a different lane of government contracting in the beauty industry. And so many of my previous clients that I serviced for over 20 years were contacting me saying, how can I get a wig made? Like, what do I need to do? Because I still got to work from home and I got to log in and my hair is a hot mess and I don't want to mess it up because you taught me about doing my own chemicals and things of that nature. Can you send me some products, or where can I find products? Listen, I opened my website up and I put those products right in there. I just made things available. I listened to the voice of the people and I just made things available for them that they needed. And one thing about me, I don't have to be in your home to service you. I literally can service. I have things that I do. I ain't gonna talk about it because this ain't about me right now, that I'm still able to make a wig for you and you don't have to be sitting here. Like, I teach you what to do so I can get what I need. Yeah. And make it happen.
Let me just mail that to you. Thank you.
Right. And get that thing out to you. And I'm telling you, COVID has definitely taught us all a lot, and technology has played a huge part in all of us, being able to really win and make money during this time. I definitely see that going to the next level, because, we don't know if we're going to be able to have another, hair show and, the risks and things like that. We just don't know. So we have to be creative. We have to find other ways to do these things. So I'm definitely going to be on supporting you. And I just love everything about you and what you're doing. So before we go, can you please tell everyone where they can find you and how they can get in contact with you and moving forward with your education and all of your great things that you're offering?
Absolutely. Hit up my website, themonaelife.com, MONAE, themonaelife.com. It's still themonaelife.com. That's where you can find all my classes, education, and books. I am on Instagram and YouTube at Monae Artistry, MONAE, Monae Artistry. And if you're interested in learning more about the Texture Style Awards, I think I might put a presentation together for that. You can follow Texture Style Awards on Instagram or head over to the website Texture Style Awards. Exactly, it is spelled exactly how it sounds, Texture Style Awards.
Wow. Well, girl, listen, I will be right here supporting you along the way. I'm so glad that I met you in person. I'm one of your biggest fans, girl. I'm always sending your stuff to somebody in their DMs like, you need to link up with this person. I'm like pushing, because we have to learn how to expose each other on our platforms. I feel like a lot of us would be so far ahead in the game if we just learn how to share information about other people. I don't do celebrity clients, at the moment or whatever, but it doesn't mean that, someone can't say, but wait a minute, you're looking for someone to do so-and-so, hey, this girl can do it. And, blah, 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 just really just being able to share the information with other people and then exposing each other on each other's platforms. I think it's great that we can go live on our platforms now and just say, hey, sis, like, would you jump on a live with me? You talked about something. I'm not all that knowledgeable about it, but you are. And I would love for my audience to just hear what you have to offer, because I've never heard of this before. And I think what you're doing is like amazing. I think that's what we have to do in this industry, because a lot of times, when it comes to brands, sometimes you get pushback when you try to work with some of these brands. Some of the brands, they have a criteria that they want you to follow as an independent, and it's not always, easy, it's not. And everyone, there's enough money. There's enough money for everyone to be able to become prosperous and wealthy in this industry. And I'm all about sharing. I'm all about sharing the love and exposing. We got to expose each other. I'm all about that. And I just think it's amazing what you're doing. And I'm going to continue to support you no matter what it is you got going on, girl. If it's pushing us to the next level, because I feel like what you're doing for what it is that you're doing with behind the scenes and things like that, your education, I feel, is next level, because I have some friends that are trying to break through and they are learning from some big name people, but the information is very lax. Mm-hmm. And you, sis, bring that heat.
And it's crazy because people want to keep trading on the name, and these people, it's wonderful that they've earned that name, and I very much say earned, because it's highly likely it was given to them. However, you need to vet your educators. Like, I even have a free download on the MonaeLife.com for you to decide if an educator is someone that would align with you, and if they're able to teach you what you need to know. Not everybody that can teach.
Absolutely. Thank you, girl. Thank you so much. That was a perfect line to close out on, because that is the God's honest truth. Thank you so much for being here. Again, I can't stop saying thank you, because you're the bomb to me.
I'm going to be pulling your ear in a few minutes after we get off, because I got questions for you too, boo.
Absolutely. Yes, let's definitely do that. And I'm going to continue on with the podcast. I got a couple things that I close out and do, but thank you so much for being here. I know all of our listeners are just elated about everything that you are doing and saying to us. So thank you so much. And I'll be talking back with you soon, girl.
All right. Well, keep me on, because there's a couple of things I want to ask you. Keep me on, and when you're done, come back to me.
Okay, we'll do. All right, guys. So you guys heard it. I ain't gonna say out the horse's mouth, because she ain't no horse, but you guys heard it from one of our very best in the beauty industry that is taking things on by storm, that is bringing you education, that is providing a platform for you to be exposed, that is constantly pushing you in the right direction by providing you with books and providing you with, classes and just everything like that. To me, is everything right now in this industry. So again, Monae, youthabomb.com to me. I just love you. Thank you so much. So guys, before we head out on this podcast, you guys know I'm a believer and I don't push what I believe on anyone. But what I do know, that God is real, and without him, none of us would be here. And I don't want to take it by chance that everyone understands everything when it comes to maybe scripture or the word or things like that. I'm not here to preach, but I do use my platform, to expose God's word, because without him, really seeking God in your business, it's just hard. You get to a space to where it's hard to move forward. So what I want to encourage you guys to do, what I want you to think about, and it's so many things that Monae exposed to us. I don't want you to get weary in your well-doing. So that's going to take us to Galatians 6:9. And that scripture says, and let us not grow weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap if we do not faint. So with everything that was said today, the key to it was to keep pushing, towards the progress of the vision that God has given you and your ability. You got to get the education, the knowledge, and the understanding. So as you go through all the different trials of your career and building your career, that you remain strong, that you remain consistent, that you remain persistent, and that you put yourself in a position to really become better. And the only way to do that is to really keep God first. So remember that scripture, Galatians 6:9. And I'm telling you guys, you can't go wrong with the word. So we're going to dismiss in prayer like I always do. I don't think it's by chance that everyone is here. So I'm just going to lead you guys in a little prayer and pray over the beauty industry. So Father, I thank you for this opportunity, Lord, that you've given us to come back on the Retail Boss podcast. And it's not by chance that whoever's watching this is here, but it is by divine appointment. And I don't take that lightly. Lord, I ask you to allow us as beauty industry professionals to work harder and strive toward the mark to the vision that you have given us. Lord, give us a peace in our heart when we're doing the right things and when we're not doing what your vision has prepared for our lives, Lord. Allow us to be able to learn from those experiences that make us uncomfortable. Lord, there's a shift that's happening in the atmosphere and our industry, Father. So, Lord, we position ourselves for you to push us in the direction that we need to go in. We open ourselves up to connections and networking and meeting the right people. We open ourselves up, Father, to be able to achieve all the prosperity that you have for our life. Lord, we thank you so much for allowing us to have Monae on this podcast today. Lord, continue to bless her in her business. Bless her in her endeavors, Lord. Keep her safe, Lord. Send your angels to protect her as she travels and as she goes forth and doing all the things that you would have her to do, Father. You have given her a grace and an anointing that is on her life to do what it is that she's doing, Father. So, Lord, we just thank you for her right now, Lord. Lord, Father God, we just thank everyone that is here, Lord God, under the strength of my voice, that everyone will apply the knowledge that was brought to the table to their lives, to their businesses, to their beauty careers, Father. Lord, I thank you so much. This is everything that I could ever dream of and or imagine that is happening on this podcast is happening. So God, I just thank you so much for the expertise, Father. And all these things I pray in your son, Jesus' name. Amen. Amen, guys. Well, that's the end of the Retail Boss podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. I know it was a little lengthy, but guess what? It was all for your good. And whoever's supposed to be here, you were meant to be here and you needed it anyway. So I just thank you guys so much for joining me. And I'll see you guys back next week for another episode. Make sure you smash that subscribe button. Make sure you smash that subscribe button if you are listening to the podcast and subscribe to the podcast. And guys, make sure you rate the show. If you're listening and it's audio for you and you're on one of the podcasting platforms, make sure you rate the show. When you give me those 5 stars and when you guys leave a comment, it allows other people in the beauty industry to find this podcast and get exactly what you guys are getting. We want to share this. We want to spread the word because you guys know that I bring you information that is applicable to your beauty business quick, fast, and in a hurry. So thank you guys so much. And I can't wait to see you back again next week. Take care. And I'll be praying for you in your business.
Thank you for listening to another impactful podcast episode. Please subscribe and leave a comment and let us know how this episode has impacted you and your business. Your comments are extremely important. It helps to make sure that others can find this information as well. To connect with me and my Retail Boss movement, please go to my website at www.retailbossbiz.com and subscribe to receive periodic updates to learn about my up-and-coming events and classes. Be sure to follow and subscribe to my Facebook group, Instagram, and YouTube pages. All of my links to my social media platforms can be found in the show notes of this podcast. Until next time, guys, have a blessed day.